In this video, I'm going to be reviewing another diet app. And is this the anti-diet app? Or is it just another diet? I'm talking about Noom. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is Emma and I do all things health, fitness, wellness related for the 40 plus woman. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. I did do this initial review quite a while ago. I wrote it out on my blog first and foremost, and I've just finally got round to putting it onto video. So Noom was a dieting app that kicked off a little while ago. It got this big increase in popularity, but then it also started to get a lot of flack, mainly from the anti-diet movement. The anti-diet people really talk about toxic dieting culture, which is definitely a thing. But I have to say, I'm not completely anti-diet, and it has to come down to really the underlying motivations and reasons behind why you want to diet or work on your health and wellness. And if you're doing it for the right reasons, i.e. to improve your health, to feel better, to live longer, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to improve your health. However, if it is to be able to fit into some societal standards and it's not supportive to your mental health, then yes, of course, dieting can have some issues. And I'm always working to toe the line between working on health and wellness as a form of self-care, and that's really what I work towards helping my clients with, and what I want to bring awareness around within these videos that I do. So some of the anti-diet community have said things that Noom is in, or misleading people into signing up to their program saying that they are anti-diet, when essentially a lot of the practices that they get to do are very much rooted in dieting culture. For example, Joshua Rowlich, who is a doctor within the NHS, put on his social media post, "Liars, Noom requires daily compulsory weigh-ins and food logging, the latter to make sure that you are hitting a prescribed calorie limit. It color codes and advises you to restrict your body by calorie density." It literally could not be more rooted in diet culture. And he has a point. Yes, that has been part of Noom's marketing strategy, is to say that it's all about the psychology of eating, which is an essential and important part of the wellness journey, as is mindset. And I like that Noom really starts to address that, but it can't say that it's one thing and then doing another. Dr. Woolrich has gone on to say, like, we need to be rejecting diet culture. And I don't think we need to reject diet culture. I think we just need to modify the way in which we do it. Again, coming round to those reasons behind why we choose to do something, because if you can get the right balance between working on your health as a form of self-care, then I think it is actually achievable to do. But a lot of people do need to become mindful and more aware of the foods that they consume, and I think Noom actually does a good job of doing that. I signed up to their 2-week trial, and if you are interested in taking on the trial, I will put the link down below. You can get that introduction for yourself. I didn't pay for this because I did the 2-week trial to form my opinion based on the trial, and just know that it is going to be limited to 2-week period. I just want to give some insight in terms of the sign-up process and how those initial 2 weeks went for me. So during the sign-up phase, like you do with many diet apps, you're going to be asked a series of questions, and when going through the questions, I was feeling like really positive about the types of questions that they were asking. They talk about learning to eat mindfully, psychology is the key to lasting change, and how Noom creates long-term results through habit and behavior change and not restrictive dieting. That is all music to my ears. It's got to be sustainable and it's got to be achievable for the long term. So it goes on to ask existing questions about your existing lifestyle, where you are at, the type of person you are. Again, all of this is great information that is supposed to feed into their algorithm to give you an output that is designed more specifically to you as an individual. As we were going in and talking about the goals, here came the first red flag that I did have an issue with. So the system asked me what was the ideal weight that I wanted to achieve. Now, as someone who knows my own body, I kind of know what my goal or target or ideal body weight should be. But it then went on to give me some additional suggestions. So it suggested to me that in terms of my age and my height, that my body weight should be between 46 to 60 kilograms. Now, for those that work in pounds or stone, I'm old school from the UK. I still work in stone predominantly. That is between 7 to 9 stone. or for anybody that's in America, that is between 101 and 133 pounds. And this is the first like shock horror, because they're basing this on BMI, which is body mass index, which we know is not always a great tool, especially for anybody who already works out and may have an amount of muscle on your body. I can't even remember the last time. I've definitely not seen 7 stone on the scale and since I was a teenager. And even 9 stone 4 is an extremely low weight that I know that I would really struggle to sustain. So that was a huge red flag for me, in that it is going in to tell me what I should be aiming towards when I know that is an unsustainable weight for my body. And as somebody who's going into this being unexperienced and not knowing any better, they're going to be completely mortified by the fact that this is the weight target, which is actually incredibly low and might be a really far way off from where the person is right now. I think it's really important for you, the consumer, to know which is a good, healthy and achievable weight for you, and to go in with this with your logical mind and not allow yourself to be told by this AI system that that is what you should weigh. So for the sake of this experiment, I decided to go with the top of their range, which was 60 kilograms. Really, in my own ideal of what I know probably could be a good goal for me, I'd probably lie around the 63 kilogram mark. So during the next phase of questioning, again, they came in with all of the right kind of questions that made me happy. What kind of feelings are you hoping to achieve? Are you looking for happiness, peace, feel revitalized, have gratitude, feel empowerment? Yes, yes, yes. I want to feel all of those feelings. Then it was asking to click on which statement most aligned with you. And it was here it's saying, I'm hoping that Noom will help me increase. The options were self-confidence, self-worth, self-awareness, self-care. FYI, there's another red flag there. Being on a diet or achieving a goal weight is not going to help you increase your self-worth. Only you can do that from working on yourself and your own thoughts and your behavior patterns. That is not going to come from a number on a scale. I want you to know right here, you are already worthy. Next statement was, when I'm at my happy weight. Again, I have a little bit of an issue with this. Like, losing weight is not what will make you feel happier. Losing weight can help you feel more achieved, more accomplished. It can help you do more things in life, but essentially it's not the weight loss that is going to help you to feel happier. It talks about eating more mindfully, enjoy foods being guilt-free, feeling empowered to make good choices, think about less food overall and less worry about my body overall. Again, those are all really positive things that I definitely would encourage people to be working towards. I think this is helping clients to assess their motivations on a deeper level beyond what's on the scale. So based on my assessment, the app tells me that I have set a good goal and I already have some healthy habits and that I eat enough meals per day to be able to hit my goal of 60 kilograms. And it tells me that I can hit my target within about 22 weeks, which is going to be around a £1 a week mark. Again, that is a good goal to set out for people. And I know from working as a coach myself that people often want to see more than that. But if we want that longevity and we want this to last for a long time, I think that £1 a week is a really good target. A challenge to get to that, because weight loss is never linear. It's never like step by step by step. There's going to be ups and downs along the way. The app then went on to ask some additional questions. And the result of those questions is like, hey, yeah, good job. Guess what? We can do this in an even faster time frame. So it was asking me about any physical limitations, whether I could work out more than I'd already said in the initial questions. It was then suggested that with a little bit more of a push, I could increase that weight loss to £2 a week and hit my goal even sooner. And this is where the challenge comes. Is that a step too far? A £2 a week weight loss can be quite aggressive. And here lies the problem when we're talking just weight loss as opposed to fat loss. Because if you are maintaining or sustaining muscle, it might not always look like weight loss on the scale, but you can still be burning fat. However, if you're using weight as the only measurement, then there's here where we can sometimes get unstuck. And we also got to remember that when we came to this, Noom is talking about not having any restrictive dieting. To be able to achieve £2 weight loss per week, you're going to have a reasonable amount of restriction. There's going to be some significant changes there, whether that is exercising more or reducing calories down even less. So whilst it's absolutely doable, the health coach in me knows that sustainability is always going to be key, and that slower rate would definitely have been a better recommendation. So getting into the actual diet, so let's just call a carrot, right? This app can't call itself anti-diet. It is a diet plan. Saying that it's not, in my eyes, is a form of false advertising. They're just cashing in on the anti-diet talk and this kind of more mindful eating movement, which is a brilliant and fantastic thing. But let's just stay in our lane. If you're going to be a diet, just call yourself that and be clear and open and honest with people. Essentially, it is counting and tracking calories, it's labeling different food groups, and they do go on to give you, for sustainable weight loss, talk about not cutting out foods. Instead, it's managing how much you eat of each food, but then they are going on to label different foods as green foods, as yellow foods, and as red foods. And again, coming down this element of psychology, and they do go into this in more detail when you are going through the instructions of the app. They're not saying that red foods are bad, and this kind of links back to more like Weight Watchers style of categorizing different foods and different labels, and in terms of psychology, red, we automatically, it's ingrained within us to be like, stop, red is bad, red is hazard, that we then can have this association with red foods as being bad foods and green foods being good foods. They do go on to explain that this isn't their intention and this is not the case, that kind of green foods are unlimited, yellow foods you have to be more moderate with, and then red foods limiting the more intake. And yes, let's be aware of which foods are better for us than others, but I don't know, is there a better way to categorize these foods? I really like that they have all their articles in audio format too. I spend a lot of time out walking with my dog, so I could be listening to these as going along to get some inspirations, tips and tools. And I do like how thorough they walked you through step by step. There was not really any massive red flags that came up for me when I was listening to these audios, as they explain things a lot better in their articles than maybe they're doing their initial questioning or even the marketing of the app. I've got some red flags coming up. I was given the calorie target of 1,320, which I know for me in my body is massively not low. I'm very active. I walk daily with my dogs. I exercise between 3 and 5 times a week, depending on what phase I'm in throughout the year. I really did just have an issue with that calorie target because I know that I would likely probably be quite hungry on that. Now, on this, it does allow you to track your movement as well. So the more that you move, any workouts that you do will give you more calories. So when I was adding my movement and my workouts in, it was taking me up towards 1,700 calories, which again is better, but it's still a little bit on the low side for me, for what I personally know as a health coach, that is as a sustainable calorie deficit for my body. So my results at the end of the 2-week trial, I had dropped 5 pounds, tracking throughout the week, and actually found that I wasn't overly hungry. So although my initial worry about not having enough food, I generally felt okay. However, by the time I've got to the end of the 2 weeks, I had completely got bored to death, as I always do, of calorie tracking. It definitely has a place in getting started. I don't think it's a tool that many of us want to be doing for the rest of our lives. And this is kind of where I come to a halt, where I can't really say any more about it. I don't know how the plan and the app progresses. I hope, or I anticipate, that the app then goes on to helping you encourage to find a more mindful eating approach so that you can integrate it into your everyday life without having to track every bit morsel of food forevermore. So if you have done the app and continued on, I'd love to hear your feedback and comments on how it progresses through for you. I know I've spoken to a few people who have been like, yeah, it worked amazing for me. I've got amazing results from it. So my own conclusions that I come to, while Noom certainly brings up some red flags and maybe does lead into some toxic dieting culture, essentially it's not a bad program. It allows for that level of flexibility. I really love the articles. I thought they were very in-depth, very well thought out. I love that you could have them in audio format so that you can listen. I suppose the challenge comes with all of the backlash that it's got is down to the marketing. It's not down to the plan itself. It's that it markets itself as an anti-diet app, which is not the case. It is a diet app. Does it work? Yes, because essentially any diet where you are having a calorie restriction is going to help you to lose. I like that this app encourages exercise and movement, and it seems quite well balanced when it comes to the lifestyle elements that it is giving you diet. It's talking about helping you to encourage fitness into your life and other lifestyle elements such as sleep, stress, recovery, and things like that. So I think it's quite well rounded. If you are the type of person that could get easily triggered, like there is daily tracking, there is daily weighing. If that you are the type of person that has any type of eating disorder or has a negative relationship with food already, then don't go on any diet. Go and speak to a therapist. Work on that element of your mindset first. I'm someone who's quite logical about this. I quite enjoyed the daily tracking. I felt like it was giving me that extra layer of accountability. But I also know that this can be incredibly triggering for other people. And essentially, this is an app and it's generated by AI. There is the option to work with coaches. I don't know whether they are AI coaches or actual real life people, but this is always going to come down to the limitation of any app. This is a follow along step by step. You've still got to be motivated to check in on that app. You've still got to have that layer of accountability with yourself. And if you are somebody who can self-study and self-regulate, then it might be a good route to go down. But it's why also I do what I do, because sometimes having someone there to ask questions, to be able to give real life feedback is something that I'm really passionate about with working with my own clients. So although I work online with them, I'm very much in there on a daily basis, connecting with them, having that layer of knowing that somebody's there to help and support them. And I don't believe that diet and exercise is ever one size fits all. You've got different stresses, you've got things going on in your life. We can't be given this one blanket statement of like, you've got to do this one thing. A lot of the basics are the same, but there has to be this layer of individuality, and I don't know how the app then goes into that, so I can't comment on that. But for getting started, I think it can give you some really valuable tools that can set you off on the right way. I would just be very mindful on that point of like knowing what your target weight loss is and not letting the app dictate that for you. This is just, however, my opinion as a health coach. If you've had any experience with Noom, I'd love to hear it down in the comments. And if you would like to get my free Kickstart guide as the very base habits that I think everybody should be working on before you get any more advanced with your diet, you can get my 5-day Kickstart program, which will be down in the description below. And it is an excellent place to get you started on your own health journey. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful. Subscribe if you aren't already. And also don't forget, I've been getting some amazing suggestions. I've got a lot to get through, but keep them coming. If you've got any health, fitness, diet products that you have seen showing up on your ads and you want to know if it's any good, let me know down in the comments and I'll be sure to add it to the list for my next set of reviews. So until next time, thanks for being here. Love you.